On 7 November 2017, David Moyes was appointed as West Ham manager on a 6-month contract. Slaven Bilic left them on 18th position at the time, on 9 points, having played 11 games. Moyes was able to guide the Hammers to an impressive 13th spot, which was largely due to Marko Arnautovic's sensational form since the turn of the year. Despite his efforts, the club did not extend Moyes' contract and opted for Manuel Pellegrini from the 2018-19 season onwards. Pellegrini brought in some creative attackers like Yarmolenko, Felipe Anderson, and Lucas Perez. He also added Samir Nasri in the January transfer window. In that season, Arnautovic continued his prolific form, ending the season as their top scorer in the league. Felipe Anderson and Javier Hernandez chipped in with 9 goals and 7 goals, respectively, which saw the Hammers finish 10th come the end of the season. A positive start to his West Ham managerial career from Manuel Pellegrini. The club's board backed Pellegrini in the ensuing transfer window, and they splashed £45 million on Sebastian Haller and £24 million on Pablo Fornals. This was to cope with Arnautovic and Hernandez leaving the club. West Ham's opening fixture of the 2018-19 season was against Pellegrini's former employers, Manchester City. They got dismantled at the London Stadium 5-0. That kicked them into gear, and West Ham would go on to win 3 and draw 3 of their next 6 fixtures. That was enough to see them occupy 5th spot at the end of matchday 7. They would then go on to take 7 points from their following 12 fixtures, and with the club in 17th spot, Pellegrini was sacked on 28 December 2019. The club announced David Moyes the very next day, this time appointing him on an 18-month contract. Moyes came in exactly halfway through the season, with 19 of their 38 league fixtures remaining. In my opinion, this is sufficient time to reshape the team, and they had the January transfer window to bring in reinforcements. Moyes sussed out his squad and then made 2 notable signings just before the January transfer window shut. He brought in Jared Bowen from Hull City for £22 million on a permanent transfer, as well as Thomas Souček from Slavia Prague on loan until the end of the season. Both players went straight into the starting lineup and were pivotal in West Ham retaining their Premier League status. They finished 16th on the log with a mere 39 points. This was their lowest points tally since the 2010-11 season. In Moyes' 19 games in charge, he only took 20 points. That was 1 more than Manuel Pellegrini amassed in his 19 games. The key to West Ham's survival was taking points from teams around them. In West Ham's last 7 Premier League fixtures, they lost once, drew 3 times, and won 3. One of those wins was a 5-goal thriller at Stamford Bridge, with Yarmolenko scoring in the 89th minute to hand West Ham the 3 points. The other 2 wins were a 4-0 drubbing of relegated Norwich City and a 3-1 win to fellow relegation-threatened Watford FC. The change in the team was palpable. In the second half of the season, Declan Rice made 53 tackles, which was third from all Premier League players, and was top 10 for interceptions in the league. 32-year-old club legend Mark Noble created 35 chances, which was only bettered by De Bruyne, Grealish and Willian from all Premier League players. Ahead of the 2020-21 season, they were very quiet in the transfer window. They made Souček's transfer permanent for only £15 million and signed Vladimir Kufal for £5 million. Moyes brought in Brentford's Syed Benrahma and Watford's Craig Dawson from the Championship on season-long loans. I don't think one person could have predicted West Ham's antics ahead of the 2020-21 season. At the midpoint of the season, West Ham sat 7th and were hovering around the European places. During the January transfer window, they made Benrahma's loan move a permanent transfer and brought in Jesse Lingard on loan till the end of the season. Lingard's 9 goals from 42 shots and 4 assists were instrumental in helping West Ham secure European football as they ended the season in 6th place, above both Arsenal and Spurs. Now, I have a dim view of West Ham ahead of the 2021-22 season. They were just relegation threatened, and then they go and qualify for Europe with virtually no squad improvements. It's 4 days before the start of the season, and they aren't even linked with anyone. No rumors, nothing. On top of that, I don't think they had performances to match their results last year. This squad is not going to last. I don't think Moyes is the type of manager to oversee an influx of players. He generally adds 2 or 3 players to the squad before the start of the season and looks to freshen it up in January with an addition or 2. He's never been one to bring in several players at a time. Remember that time when he was the Man United manager? He only signed Fellaini. In the Nets, they have a proper shot stopper in Lucas Fabianski. They have added Alphonse Areola on a season-long loan from PSG. I like Vladimir Kufal and Aaron Cresswell, but there's so much emphasis on those wing-back positions that they need more cover there. I think Sidibe, who was on loan at Everton from Monaco, may be what they're looking for. Last year, starting centre-back was Watford loanee Craig Dawson. That's a championship defender whose season-long loan has now been made into a permanent transfer. It is likely that Dawson will start alongside Diop. Diop is quality, and it will be interesting to see how he copes with European football. I don't know why they haven't signed Tarkowski from Burnley as yet. They have a few prospects in their midfield, but they really need to bolster it. Lingard came in and was their talisman. They need someone in that position who can make the team click. Is it Minamino from Liverpool? What about Oxlade-Chamberlain? Matthias Pereira was heads and shoulders above his West Brom teammates last season. They need someone who can produce the similar output from midfield. Why didn't they sign Buendia? He would have had the same impact that Lingard had, maybe even better. I didn't even know Buendia was for sale. Are they going to let Cantwell slip through their fingers? How would they look if Cantwell signs for Newcastle or Southampton? Clubs that probably can't even give them what West Ham can. Cantwell is entering the last year of his contract. However, Norwich does have the option to extend it for another year. They are weak on the wide areas. Previous wingers like Yarmolenko and Felipe Anderson are no longer a part of the club's plans. I'm gutted that Felipe Anderson has left the club. I thought he could have been great for them. They could look to freshen things up with Alex Iwobi. Could they maybe pry away Ryan Fraser, who has barely played for Newcastle? I can't see Bowen and Benrahma terrorizing defenses week in and week out. Benrahma is good, but I don't think the club is getting the best out of him. I don't think Antonio is as good as people think he is. Tammy Abraham is crying out for a club, and he had a phenomenal season at Chelsea. I'm surprised nobody has made a move for him. They can also look to Moise Kean. The West Ham tactic is playing aerial balls from goalkeeper to Antonio or Souček. From all Premier League players, Oli McBurney won the sixth most aerial duels last season. That's more than forwards like Kane and Antonio, and more than defenders like Ruben Diaz and Maguire, which shows that he can receive these kind of passes from Fabianski. Sheffield have been relegated, and I'm sure they would be open to an offer. West Ham are truly one of the unluckiest teams, and the London Stadium has seen some dark times over the past few years. They somehow just seem to attach all their hopes to one player, and that player delivers. It used to be Payet, then Arnautovic, and now Jesse Lingard. Credit to West Ham for qualifying for Europe, but 2 injuries to their starting 11 and that entire squad implodes. Until we meet again.